Hello everyone, it's me again, Lesty. I am back with the race. We finally got through and got the race ready to go. Hopefully no more further issues. Thank you again for the guys joining back into the stream. I want to thank all the drivers for their patience and for helping out in getting this up and running and able to bring you guys a race and let these guys race it out on what is such an exciting track as Austria. So we'll be into the action very, very shortly, in a matter of seconds, in fact. So please do like the stream. I would really, really appreciate it after the stressful evening that this has brought on. Make sure you subscribe and give me some comments. Chat to me. I'm reading all comments that come in. Give me some predictions. Who's going to win this one? Bring it to me. Give me some chat, guys, and we'll enjoy a fun race together, and I will bring you as much of the action as I can. And I can see some of you joining now. While you're here, make sure you do subscribe to League Racing TV, because you don't want to miss the rest of the season. We've only got 4 races left after this. We're into the second half of the season. Every race now counts. CPI out in the lead, but can they hold that lead? As we have a formation lap, which we're not meant to. We're actually not meant to have this. But we have tonight. So here you are. You're getting a treat of a formation lap as well. What a nice treat. Thankfully, Palmer stepped in and hosted the lobby, because I actually couldn't host, because if you were in the stream beforehand, I was setting up the lobby and then my F1 crashed, so it doesn't like me hosting and trying to broadcast at the same time. I'm not sure if it's related, to be honest, but it probably isn't. But yeah, guys in the stream, thank you for joining. Let me know who you're supporting. Let me know your predictions. Chat to me. Say hello in the chat. I'm on my own this evening, as Scott has had a power outage and is unable to get back. Rick, evening to you. You can say hello beforehand, but that is fine. You want to see the tyres? I will give you the tyres that all the drivers are starting on. It's a mix of hard and medium tyres. We've got Tiago, Rishi, Thomas, Kiki Samir, I'm going to call him Samir, Palmer and Young Tug all starting on the medium, while the rest of the grid opt for the hard tyre. So there you go. There are your starting tyres for this one. Zedel said, let's go RT. IRT, sorry, RT. I can't even read now. And PLX21, good luck to everyone, and let's go LDL. So some support here from LDL. Rick is... Oh, me, Killer NL. You should have say hello instead of just going straight in for the tyres. I bet you're engineering at the moment, so that is probably why. Makes sense. But here we go then. I've got a terrible angle of the start. I can't see a thing. So we're going to have to go on board with Snipes. There's 5 red lights and they're out. How's this start going to go? I still can't see anything. I'm so sorry. Kugotsky is not able to get ahead. Oh, he's really close to the rear though. Oh, we're having a bit of lag there. That didn't look good. But they're all still going, all facing the right way out of turn 1. And look at this, LDL Cobra and Kugotsky going for the move on Snipes. We're going to go free breast. Oh, and Cobra just squeezed Snipes there, and he was trapped in a sandwich, and Kugotsky has managed to make the move. Luke has been overtaken by Nico, so the LDL boys looking good here. Great start from those guys. Oh, Snipes looks to make that move up, and there's contact ahead with Cobra. Looking to get that position back, as we see further down Leroy and Tito trading places, and trading places once again. Leroy's trying to hang it around the outside, and is he going to get that move done? That's a brilliant, brilliant move from Leroy, who's actually looking to try and get another move done, looking on the back of Dara, but he's not going to be able to make the move into that sweeping right-hander. And we finish the first lap with Kogotski in the race lead. Am I just stuck in really bad views? No, I'm not. So there we go. We're looking a bit better. Right, let's have a look. Thomas has made a move on G10 Quartz for 11th place, and Quartz is going to come under attack from TGT Palmer going round the outside. We'll go on board with Tug to get the best angle of this one. He goes deep, and then Quartz gets caught out by Thomas on the inside there, so he's lost the position, now taking that position away from there for Quartz, as he's now been overtaken by the two TGT boys, sorry, as CPI Luke and Tiago trade places. Tiago, of course, looking quite good in qualifying, and he starts on the medium tyre, so he's on the faster tyre. Tito has just dropped 2 places. Thomas and Julian getting ahead of him, make that free. Palmer also goes around the outside, and there's got to be damage for Tito. He's coming into the pits, not what you want to see so early on. He'll be hoping for a safety car of sorts, I'm sure, as the DRS is now enabled as we have hit the 3rd lap of racing. Now this is where the moves become a lot more accessible with the help of the DRS and the battery. Let's see what's going to happen. The LDL boys are looking quite close together, as we also see Quartz and Blitz coming to the pits down on the left hand side of your screen. Tiago looking good in 5th. LDL boys looking fairly comfortable in 3rd and 4th. Cobra had a monster of a start, but sits in 3rd, as Snipes did reclaim 2nd place from him. IRT, Leroy and Julian sitting pretty in 8th and 9th for IRT at the moment, and Thomas rounds off the top 10, and we're looking good. Everyone's sort of settled down now. Oh, maybe not. Tiago looking for a move on Nico around the final corner. Not sure whereabouts he was going for. Around the outside maybe. But Nico does hold that position. But he might be a bit vulnerable with that sort of exit, as Tiago looks for the inside of the LDL driver. We're going to go on board with Luke. We'll get the best view here as Tiago courts Nico on the outside, and that's 4th place for Tiago. But will Nico come back at him? We'll stay on board with Luke. We might see a move for the lead. We have seen a move for the lead. Snipes has taken the lead off Kogotski. We've missed that bit of contact between Luke and Nico, as Nico's pitted, braked a bit earlier than he would have, than Luke saw. Leroy has gone off somewhere. He has dropped way down to the back of the field, apart from the guys that have pitted, as we see Tito going into the box for a 2nd time. Not a good start for the Legacy Racing driver. Let's go back up here. I'm interested to see what's going on. This top 6 is looking very tight at the moment, and the closest of gaps, as Thomas sets the fastest lap in 9th on those mediums. The closest gap is Luke here behind Nico, but I'm going to move forward because I've got a feeling we might see a move for the lead. Kogotski going out the inside of Snipes, and Cobra trying to take advantage of it, but unable to, making contact with the rear of Snipes. Tiago's going to be joining in the fun here soon if these not carry on. And Snipes going defensive on the inside against Cobra there. Felt like he had to, and that's giving him a bad exit. Cobra is now on the outside trying to hang it round. Snipes is keeping him at bay, and it's good racing from the two as Snipes holds on to the position very, very well. Great defence from him, and that has actually allowed Tiago to come right onto the back of Cobra here. So it's really, really bunching up here at the top. Kogotski's actually building a little bit of a gap, obviously still within the DRS, but not out of the woods just yet. Everyone looking feisty, looking for moves. I don't really know where to look as Thomas is out, and is that safety car? It is. There he is on the inside right of exit of turn 1, and this helps out the guys who have had a spin at the back, and we are neutralised. We are yellow flag, and LRN Thomas is out of this race, and we are down to the 19 drivers. That is a shame to see. We've got Maze in the chat, the main man of EML himself. Big up him. Oh, Dara's out. Dara's out. Where? Oh my god, what on earth has happened there? Oh my god, that is a shock. Dara is out. To me, that looks like he's made contact with a car. And I'm pretty sure he was up around about CPI Luke. I think he was behind CPI Luke. I'm not going to be able to see that. We'll be able to see where he crashes out if we do a bit of a VAR check on the stream, but really don't know what's happened there. And WR have lost Dara. That could be huge in the standings and the results for this race. Snipes obviously in the lead, decides to stay out as well, so they're looking good on his part, but WR and LRN both down to one driver each now after those retirements. Zadell, can you show telemetry and ERS please? I choose not to. One, because it fills up more of the screen and I want to see all of the action. Two, I don't want to try and give engineers that information, because some people won't be watching this stream. I prefer not to give that information out. That's just what I do. That's the way I want to broadcast this race. So unfortunately, I'm not going to show that to you right now. I mean, it doesn't matter right now, because everyone should pretty much be recharging their battery. So should be a full battery come the restart of this one. We've got about 22 people in the stream right now. Can everyone here give me a like on the stream? Honestly, I'd really appreciate it, as I'm now here on my own without Scott. I'm missing Scott alongside me, and with all the difficulties we've had as well, it'd be a nice little boost to see some likes coming up on the stream. We'd really appreciate it, and I'd really appreciate it, as I'm doing this job on my own. And I did do the I'm not sure if some of you guys watching, I did do the academy race beforehand along with Mike, so this is my second commentary tonight, second commentary on EML as well tonight, so the throat's going to take some beating tonight, and I'm not helping myself under the safety car. I should be using this time to chill. But yeah, get some more predictions in, guys. Say hello in the chat. Talk to me. I want to see some things. Who are you supporting as well? Who are you here watching? Is it just one driver? Is it a team? Let me know. Get those comments coming in. I want to see them flooding in. So, there we have it. Going to go back to green flag racing, and Snipes will be the man to get us back underway. When is Snipes going to go? Has he gone now? No, he's not gone yet. And there he goes. He's off. As someone's actually dived into the pits. Very late decision to dive into the pits. It's Leroy. Wonder why Leroy has decided to do that, as Kogotsky has already made up a place on Michelle. Michelle looking like he's having a bad exit on those old tyres. Julian getting ahead of Michelle as well, looking to make more places up. Be careful of that Red Bull in front. Ooh, a bit bumpy. but we're all good, facing the right direction. Cobra and Julian fighting it out here for P7 on this restart. Julian's going to hang it up the inside. Cobra's squeezing as much as he can, but that's not going to put Julian off making the move. But Cobra still holds onto the position and gets himself ahead of that car, as I see Kugotsky getting himself ahead of Rishi, who is on the older medium tyre, one of few drivers, or a handful of drivers, to stay out on that safety car. And Kugotsky is flying, he's up ahead of Young Tug. He's really looking to make some moves early doors and get ahead of these guys that have stayed out on the older tyre, as LDL Cobra is the next one to be making his moves. I wonder if LDL, from a team perspective, wouldn't have really favoured that safety car, as Tiago is now having to look for a lead, having to make Snipes go pretty defensive there. Is he going to get a decent run-off? Kugotsky has. He's done a switchback move on Palmer to get himself up into P3, and Tiago has now got himself alongside Snipes, and he's making a move up the inside, as Palmer's also looking back to try and get back the third place from Kugotsky, but the fresher tyres means Kugotsky stays ahead. LDL Nico further down, getting ahead of Rishi. Luke also getting ahead of Rishi. Cobra now getting himself ahead of Palmer. The guys on the older tyre just need to be a bit patient. They will drop a little bit, but if they just stick with it, I'm sure they will be absolutely fine. You've got to expect the guys on the fresh to make some gains. As Kugotsky going up the inside of Snipes for second place, and he's through, and he actually had a bad exit, so Cobra's even makes the move up the inside. But Cobra, look at Cobra. Cobra's really flying. He's literally following Kugotsky all the way, not letting him out of his sight. And Tiago's actually going to defend this. Really hard defence, actually. Wheel to wheel. There's a bit of contact there. Nothing wrong with that. They're both staying facing forward. Really aggressive, hard racing. Oh, Cobra loses it. Oh, and there's ghosting. I'm not sure that ghosting was meant to be on. It might have been. But Cobra, have I given him commentator's curse there? I may have given him commentator's curse. I do apologise. I have just got a notification as well that the quality of the stream may drop. It seems like my Wi-Fi is having a bit of a wobble. Oh, you've just seen it actually on screen anyway. So that is why, if there's any issues with the stream, it's just one of a number of issues we've had this evening. As who's that going up the inside of Snipes? That's Palmer fighting away with Snipes there. Those old hards aren't looking too great, as Palmer seems to have made a bit of contact with Snipes, but nothing major. And Kugotsky is now your race leader. Had Cobra following him all the way through, but that mistake from Cobra has thrown him all the way back off the grid, and he's got it all to do now. He's got the pace. We've seen he's got the pace. It's going to be a recovery drive for Cobra unless we get another safety car. But we are a third of the way through the Austrian Grand Prix, and as you can see, Kugotsky leads with Julian in second, and Tiago currently occupying that was a struggle, occupying the podium position, but he's got a lot of pressure from guys on fresher rubber. It's Nico and Luke, and here they come. And actually Tiago's gaining as well on Julian. Nico makes the move up the inside, and he's ahead of the JR driver, as CPI Luke, I'm sure, will want to make the move as well to follow Nico through. But Tiago with the DRS, it's not going to be easy for him, as Snipes and Palmer continue to trade places. Also Michelle and Young Tug also trading places, fighting inside the top 10. And Michelle's got his teammate Otido looking up the inside of Young Tug. A little look there, but fought better against that move. CPI Luke further ahead, getting the move done on Tiago as well. So they are through. And it's not going to calm down. Look at this midfield group. It goes from Snipes all the way down to Rishi in 15th. We've got a big train here, all within inside the second. And there you go. Palmer making the move once again up the inside. And oh, it's Samir wanting to take full advantage of that. And he's actually compromised himself as Michelle now looks for the move. And we've got another safety car. Who's that? That is Young Tug, who has found himself in the wall somewhere, and he has no front wing. So I wonder what happened there. I wonder if that was battling or just a traction issue, maybe. But there we have it. A safety car once more. Our second safety car of this race. Now, what do the guys do? Kogotsky going again for a safety car pit. Nico, will he follow suit? Everyone currently following suit. I'm guessing just get the fresh rubber on. As Palmer definitely will come in. Michelle will come in. Samir staying out. Understandable. He's on relatively new hard tyres, so wants to take the race lead for RVL. Everyone else in the pits. Every single driver, and even including IRT Leroy at the back. So Samir will be the only driver to not have a fresh set of rubber on that Haas car. So as it was starting to string out, we were seeing sort of like a couple of trains forming, like that train in the midfield, a big old train of like 10 cars or so. And we've brought everyone back together, all 18. We haven't lost anyone as well. It was Young Tug who has pulled out the safety car with that front wing missing from either contact or traction, ending him up in the wall, I believe. And we're going to have everyone back together once again to have another restart. And now we've got a bit of field spread as well. It looks like most people have gone onto the hard, so a lot of people taking the hard thinking this will get me to the end of the race. It's smart. But others have gone for the more aggressive Nico, Snipes, Michelle, Jeroen, Blitz and Cobra all going for the medium tyre. So do they feel they can get that medium tyre to the end of the race, or are they thinking, what are the chances of a third safety car? Do we gamble on this, hoping to use this stint to have the faster set of rubber than a lot of the drivers around us? And then if there's another safety car, we've made moves due to having the faster tyre, and then at the end we can either go on to another set of mediums or a fresh set of softs. So be interesting to see as IRT Leroy comes back in. Obviously doesn't want to be on the hard, so he has changed for a fresh set of mediums. So he's going for that one. Glowstick, thank you for your comments. Appreciate you. Tug was put in the wall by Tito, so there we go. A bit of contact between the legacy driver of Tito with TGT Young Tug. And also Glowstick adds, go TGT. Nice bit of support. I like to see teams come, drivers or their drivers if they're a manager of a team. It's good to see. So everyone watching, do get involved in the chat. It's great to see you guys chat to me. Keeps me entertained. Although I'm entertained by the action on track, I also like to see people's views, opinions, predictions, etc. Are we going to go green flag? I think we're just too late. So we're going to get another lap of the safety car, which is great for me because I can rest my voice slightly. And while I rest my voice slightly, let's show you the penalties. So Quartz and Rishi both got 3 seconds at the moment. That is all we have. position changes. Currently, Samir is up 13. Look at that. Safety car helping him out a lot, but he is on the old tyre compared to everyone else, so he might get swallowed. We'll see. Big movers as well from Julian up 7, Palmer up 8, Michelle up 11, and then some of the guys not having a best of race so far. Snipes down 7, Tito down 7, Cobra down 13, and Leroy also down 9 currently, but they could all change because we're not even halfway. We're about to hit the halfway mark in this race. I'm going to rest my voice until we then go green. And here we go. Samir has got us back underway and under green flag racing, and Rishi and Cobra have both just picked up a penalty off of that last corner from the restart, and Samir already under a lot of pressure. The fresh tyre guys are gonna swallow him up, I'm afraid, as Kogotsky looks for the move. Nico looks to join him and he gets a bit aggressive with that move, making contact up the inside. Snipes and Palmer continue to battle, as Palmer, I believe, has gone quite wide, losing the position to Michelle and now losing a position to Quartz. We have a move for the lead. It's the medium tyre of Nico going up the inside of Kogotsky, and the medium versus the hard. Medium has the better pace right now. Might not be towards the end of this race, but you have to stay tuned and find out what happens, won't you? As Julian now looks to make the move on Samir, going into the penultimate turn of the lap, and he's upped himself into P3. Samir dropping 3 places from that restart, and Nico sets the fastest lap of the race so far with a 105.6. Cobra making moves further down. We know he's got good pace under that car, so 14th. Let's see where he can end up towards the end of this race. Tiago looking for the move on Samir, which he does do so, ups himself ahead of the Haas. Luke also going to follow on suit. Snipes looking to do the exact same up the inside, and Samir loses yet another position as Michelle gives him a little love tap on the rear. Oh, that was very close to making contact with the rear of Michelle as he went round the outside of Samir, but he manages to get past the Haas driver as well. Unfortunately, Samir, you're being passed by a lot of people right now, but it's okay. Keep going, my man. It's gonna happen, I'm afraid, but their tyres will go off as well at some point, as he now loses yet another position to Quartz. DRS is now enabled, so we should now be seeing a lot more movement, as most of the pack is relatively stuck together. We're seeing a move for the front again. Kogotsky getting himself back into P1 ahead of Nico. These two have actually broken the DRS from Julian, so it's a 2-horse race currently present. Nico going up the inside, retaking the lead. It's back and forth, Nico versus Kogotsky for the race lead at the moment. We're seeing further moves further down as Rishi and Jeroen are getting tasty, getting to know each other quite well, as they're now coming up to Samir also, and Jeroen's going to go around the outside of Samir before the penultimate corner to get the move done as well. Let's go further up again, because I'm sure we'll see a move for the race lead. It's going to be Kogotski. He's gone for it. He's up the inside. And he's made that move quite late. So he should have the DRS on Nico. And he should be able to defend this quite well. He's actually gaining on Nico. So yes, Kogotski stays ahead. There's an incident further back. It's Samir. Samir's ended up in the wall. He's beached. Samir, reset. You're allowed to reset. Reset to track, Samir. And he's retired from the race. Is that going to be a safety car? Samir has retired. He's out of this race. I don't think it's going to be a safety car. There's no one there. And we've just seen Young Tar going for a move up the inside on Blitz, making contact. He's actually managed to keep that car facing the right direction. And he continues on in this race. Samir, though, the third retirement of this race. And we are down to 17. We're going to go back towards the front as Nico will most likely make another move on Kogotski. We have a comment, Jeff, prediction as every week, Kogotski winning. So let's see what happens. At the moment, he's in a dogfight with Nico, so these two are having bundles of fun, getting to know each other very well. Two drivers that are also getting to know each other very well are Snipes and Luke, as Luke makes a position on... No, Snipes makes a position on Luke, and Snipes is going for the move as well, and Julian's getting greedy, and Julian's out. Julian is out. It's the third safety car. Contact between the IRT man of Julian and Snipes. Right, I'm no steward. I'm just a commentator. But this is my view on that incident. I believe Julian tried to come across to get himself ready for the entrance of the left-hander, and I think he's just brought himself across too much, and I think that's where the contact has come from. Oh, it's hard. It's up to the stewards. I'm sure that will be in the stewards room, but that is gutting to see. Julian is our fourth retirement of the race, and he brings out the third safety car of the race as well. So it's a reset once again, and most of the grid again pitting, apart from Nico, Tiago, Jeroen and Cobra. Oh, I'm not sure about their decisions. IRT Leroy getting a 5-second penalty, speeding into the pit lane, but going on to the softs. How is that going to fare for the IRT man, the sole IRT man left in this race? Let me know, guys, in the chat your opinions on that incident between Dara and Julian, which has left Julian out of this race. What are your thoughts? Do you think that was just a racing incident? Do you think the IRT man of Julian was to blame there? Do you believe Dara maybe was to blame there? Or Snipes, sorry, not Dara, Snipes. Or do you believe Snipes was to blame there? Snipes did go for the move on Luke, and then, like I said at the time, looking to be a bit greedy and make it 2-in-1. And was he just a bit too eager? Because that has also damaged his race slightly. But it's a controversial one. Zadell, Snipes was only on Julian's rear tyre and had 2-3 metres to the right. So Zadell kind of making it sound like it could be Julian's fault there. These are only opinions. Everyone's valued. Everyone's opinion is valued. There's no right or wrong answer here. Troye, CPI manager, our one rival gets taken out and our second rival possibly getting a pen. 2 birds in 1 stone for CPI. It's a fair point. It is a fair point. Boomye, WR taking out 2 IRT drivers. IRT not very happy. Sick fight for P2 apparently. from Boom. Yeah, nice to see you in the stream, my man. Steve says, WR better get banned, man, after this. Honestly, that was so stupid again. Sidell saying Snipes at fault. I mean, bans might be pushing it a little bit. That might be pushing it, Steve. Might be pushing the boat out a bit too much on that one. But yes, things happen, don't they? It's racing. We don't like to see it, but it does happen. It's the sport we love. It comes with its highs and its lows. But unfortunately for Team IRT at the moment, it is a low feeling of Julian being out of this race, and Leroy at the back. He did get rid of his 5-second penalty, but he's got a lot to do. He is on the fast tyre of the softs, but towards the end they will feel like racing on ice. So let's see what IRT Leroy can do for his team that are watching on. Jeff said, people always come to chat to moan, just send the POV and done what you with moaning about an incident. No, it's not moaning, Jeff, it's not. I like people's opinions. If they want to have a say, oh, like that was that person's fault or this, I'm all for it. I want to see the opinions. Everyone's opinion is valued here. It's what we like to see. Zidane said, like, Snipes was not alongside and had plenty of space to the right. So that is Zidane's opinion of the matter. And Steban has also joined the stream. Steban, nice to see you. And yeah, it's a third safety car, and we're going to go green once again. 4 drivers, Nico, Thiago, Jerome and Cobra, all staying out on older tyres, older sets, everyone else on a new set. What's going to happen? Let's find out. We're going to have 10 laps to go here in the Austrian Grand Prix. Nico has started off very, very early and gets us back underway, stringing the field out there a bit, and it's a great restart, I have to say. I think he's done very well there, going pretty early. Leroy making a place up at the back already on Rishi. Are we going to see any early moves? Kugotsky obviously was fighting Nico at the front early doors. He's looking to make a move on Cobra. There's a bit of contact there. He is through. Bit of contact though. Up into P4. Oh, sector 2. There's a yellow flag. Who's that? I don't know. Oh, it's Blitz. Blitz has had an incident. There's moves at the back though. Leroy pushing for his team and making the move on Young Tug. He's up to P12. There's further moves. We're missing up ahead. Apologies. Kugotsky ahead of Giro, and Kugotsky not hanging around. He wants to get going as GT10 Raf picks up a penalty. Kugotsky's teammate Luke sending it up the inside as well. CPI moving into its Noah's Ark at CPI Esports as we head on to the second lap. Still no DRS. Michelle ahead of Cobra going into turn 1. The guys that have stayed out of Jeroen and Cobra might not be fancying their chances looking at it now, because they are under a lot of attack. There's moves, all sorts going on down the field as Snipes looking for a move on Palmer. We've seen this. This is like the third time we've seen these two battling. And Thiago and Nico are now fighting at the front, and this is going to invite Kugotsky in, and he's going to look to go up the inside. There's not much room. It's nearly 3 wide, but Nico gets ahead of Thiago. Kugotsky concedes, but he goes for the switchback. Gets a little bit out of shape. Good save from Kugotsky to keep that car facing forward. And there's another yellow flag. It's Palmer in the gravel. He's still going though, and we won't see a safety car from that. Thank God. I don't want another one. Jeroen picks up a time penalty. Thiago coming at Nico once again. Kugotsky sitting here waiting. CPI Luke, his teammate, also waiting, egging his teammate on. Come on, let's get these. And Thiago's going to look for a move on Nico. This is the annoying thing for Kugotsky, because it makes it hard as they battle. Thiago goes up the inside. Nico makes contact with Kogotski. Michel making his way through and up into P2 almost, as Kogotski now looking for the move up the inside. Thiago, everyone is diving left, right and centre. Michel just suddenly just throws his hat in. He's getting involved for Legacy in the Williams, and Thiago leads this race at the moment with Kogotski in second place. Thiago doing a fine job keeping hold of P1 on those older set of tyres compared to the guys around him. Snipes making a move on Giron and Cobra really suffering, really being swallowed up by the field as Young Tug further down gets past Rishi for TGT, and Raf also making the move on Rishi. So those softs not working out too well for Rishi. Leroy though making moves up on those softs. He's nearly inside the top 10. And look at this. Moves all over the place. Kogotski ahead of Thiago. Michel up the inside of Thiago. There he goes. Nico and Luke fighting it out. Luke getting ahead of the LDL driver. If I'm missing moves, guys, I apologise. They're happening all the way down the field. Thiago's not giving it up that lightly. He's going up the inside of Michel, but Michel has the traction and he does get the move done. He's up into second place and he can chase on with Kogotski. There's an instant further behind. Who's that? Is that Raf? Yes, it is. It's the G10 man of Raf having an incident further back. Luke now looking to make a move on Thiago himself, going into the penultimate corner up the inside, side by side, and it's a lovely move from the CPI man. He's up into the podium positions. Thiago doing a fine job, I have to say though, on these old hard tyres. He's sticking with them. Yes, he's dropped places, but he's doing really, really well on worn tyres. Is Michel going to be making a move on Kogotski? No, he's going to stay patient. Thiago, though, he's saying, I'm not out of this. I'm still here. Having a look on Luke. Luke also always going to have the better traction on the fresher tyres. Thiago not going to have a second bite at that cherry. Quartz, now a man that haven't seen too far up. He's been in and about the action. He's now looking to get involved in the top 4 fight, or even look for a podium himself. Oh, but he's nearly went into the back of Nico and he's had to slam on the brakes, and Snipes has had to avoid it and he's gone off into the gravel. Snipes plummeting down as Leroy for IRT makes the moves up the grid. He's up into P8 now, making a lot of moves. How much life have those softs got left on that Mercedes car though? Let's wait and see. 5 laps to go. It's 8th place for him at the moment. What can he do? Let's go back to the front as we see the CPI boys have Michel of Legacy in a sandwich, as Leroy, I believe, has just lost a place to Giron. So Leroy is stuck in a battle there with Giron and Cobra. Both have older tyres than him, but he's on the softs that are going to go off quite quick on their optimum. As we see Tito now getting up to the back of Nico, making a small bit of contact, but they're all facing the right way, so we're all good. Quartz still here despite having to brake and losing a position, so he's still in here, although he has a time penalty which is gonna hamper him a little bit, and IRT Leroy will be looking at that and licking his lips, thinking, yes, that's another position in the bag as long as I stay within the 3 seconds. Now Michel, is he going to go for the move? He's looking like he is. He's firing it up the inside. Luke not going for the move, staying put, and we're seeing moves behind as well as Tito gets ahead of both Nico and Thiago. Nico gets himself ahead of Thiago. Quartz looking to do the same, going around the outside of Thiago, not being left a lot of room, having to go on the dirt, and Thiago brakes later, keeps the position. These 4 are very, very tightly packed together. Got to be careful on the brakes. Quartz this time. We don't want to repeat as Leroy gets himself back ahead of Jeroen. But there we go. Jeroen tagged by the rear of the IRT man. Oh, that could be a racing incident, that one. Not sure. We'll leave it to the stewards. I'm just a commentator. Cobra now getting ahead of Leroy as well. Maybe Leroy's contact with Jeroen has lost him a bit of pace and a bit of time there. So it's CPI and LE battling it out for the top 4. Tito 3.5 seconds off though, so Michelle is going to be tag teamed by the CPI boys, and they'll be looking for maximum points here. Their rivals of WOR and IRT have both lost a driver this race. And there we go, Luke is actually making the move on Michelle. He's up the inside, and there we go. It's now a CPI 1-2 with 3 laps to go. Michelle won't be happy. He won't want this. He'll want to beat at least one of them. It's going to be very hard for him to beat both. But if he can beat one of them, I think he'll be pretty happy. But he's sticking with them, and we'll continue to have a look at that fight. We'll continue to have a look to see if Nico and Thiago can hold on to the rear of Tito to be within the chance of a top 4 finish. Quartz is still there as well, obviously, but has a penalty. Leroy on his softs has now broken away from the guys behind, so he's got himself a bit of a gap. Cobra sitting in 9th. He has Young Tug, Snipes, Rishi all for company as well. Palmer sitting in P13 after going off in the gravel. Raf in P14. Blitz further back in 15, not sure what happened to him. And Jeroen pitting after that incident, and we see Luke and Kogotsky trading places at the front. We're also seeing these guys fighting for P9 as Snipes gets ahead of Cobra. Not sure, Cobra lost a lot of pace there. Not too sure what happened, but Snipes is up into P9 with Rishi and Young Tug following through on Cobra. And we now are heading towards the penultimate lap. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in the stream. This is where it all comes down to, these final few moments. You've got to make them count. Got to get your tactics right. And CPI need to get their tactics right if they want to secure the 1-2, because Michelle is not going away anytime soon. Is this the tactic that they're trading places? Oh, they have traded places, but that has meant Michelle was able to get out the inside of Luke, so he's spoiling the CPI 1-2 party. Nico is not out of this. They're still coming back. The guys on 20-lap-old medium and hard tyres, Thiago and Nico getting ahead of Tito. Quartz is way behind, and he's gone for a move up the inside. It's a great move. Diving up. Tito's not going to go away though, and he's going to have the better traction on the inside, and he does actually keep the position. Well done. Good racing from those two on that occasion. I was confused with that one. I thought the CPI guys might go side by side up into turn 1 to just make sure there's no chance of a move, but we go on to the last and final lap of what has been a tiring but very, very fun race here in Austria. What is the final result going to be? It's Kogotsky currently in first place. Luke is coming back at Michelle. Michelle's giving him the outside, and Michelle has not tried to stay on his inside. I think he's backed off to make sure he gets the DRS, but is he going to be able to have enough speed to get back at Luke? He's not. So it's CPI 1-2 at the moment. Can they hang on for that to the checkered line as Nico looking to make a move with Thiago? These two have been stuck together since the restart, both on 21-lap-old tyres, but they're holding off Tito on the fresher tyres. Oh, and he's been forced out by Nico. I don't think Tito can have any complaints there. He wasn't ahead, as Quartz does get ahead of Tito. Nico slowing down though, not sure what's happening there, but Kogotsky is going to win the Austrian Grand Prix for CPI, and it's CPI Luke in second place. It's a CPI 1-2 with Michelle for Legacy, getting P3. Well done to him. Great race. He started, by the way, let me show you, back of the grid, 17 places. Hats off to Michelle. What a race from him today. Tiago as well. Brilliant race. He done very well to keep where he was positioned on track on those hard tyres. Tito finishes up in P5, Nico in P6. Not sure why he slowed at the end. Maybe it was because of forcing Tito out that he felt he needed to give that place back. But there we have it. Whew. What a race that was. Had all the highs and the lows, all the dramas. And CPI, who already have a healthy 50-point plus lead, will be extending that with this one too. Especially with their rivals, nearest rivals, WOR only having one driver finish that race. Also IRT only having one driver finish that race. And Tiago for Juventus, who have been making great progress after starting on negative points of missing out on the first round of not putting a lineup up. They also had Tiago finishing well, but his teammate Rishi finishing down in P13. So there we have it. Kogotsky and Luke taking the 1-2 for CPI. It's Michelle finishing in third for Legacy. Tiago in 4th for JR. Tito for Legacy in 5th. Nico for LDL in P6. Courts finishing up in P7 for G10. IRT Leroy with a recovery drive to P8. IRT boys must be happy with that, considering where he was in moments of this race. WR Snipes finishing in 9th, and Young Tug rounding off the top 10 for TGT. It's his teammate Palmer in 11th, Cobra in 12th, Rishi in 13th, Raf 14th, Jeroen in 15th with the fastest lap, Blitz in 16th, and our retirements were Julian, Samir, Dara and Thomas, the 4 retirements in that one. So there we have it. What a race. Thank you everyone for joining me on this one. Unfortunately we lost Scott right at the start of qualifying. Hopefully we'll have him back next week. Next week being round 7, and we will be heading to Zandvoort in the Netherlands, so that could be a tasty one. Quite a fun, quick track, not much space in areas of the track, so it's going to be an exciting one. And I will also give a driver of the day shout, as we always do. I normally do it alongside Scott, but I'll give 2 driver of the days. I'll give one because Scott's not here, and one for myself. So on one hand, it has to be Michelle. Yes, maybe safety cars brought him to where he was, or brought him much further up. But you can't hide away from someone going from the back of the grid up to P3, finishing on the podium. So well done to Michelle. Really well driven race from him. And I also think Tiago will probably be my other shout. Very good race from him, especially that last stint. 21 lap old tyres, and managing to finish P4 for the Juventus racing team. So Tiago and Michelle are my drivers of the day. Everyone in the stream, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, and seeing all the comments in there. This is what I like to see, so thank you for that. Before you go, please do like the stream. Really would appreciate it. Thank you for the 7 people that have already. If you are still here, please do like it just before you go. Also, subscribe to League Racing TV so you don't miss out on any of the remaining races. We have 4 races to go, so subscribe. Every Wednesday, 8 PM F2. We will be there next week for Zandvoort. I've been your host, Lesty. I hope you've enjoyed it tonight. Stay safe, and I will see you all next week. Thank you very much. Good night.